a pool of Meteora. Watch me swim, swap a bed, I just keep it going. I'm kinda like I'm reading orders. Depth pool, got a fight and it full of high hopes. Look at my flow, DLM, man, keep it liquid, it's never not so. Hold up like, whoa, talking about slippers, bro, I don't even know that hoe. Easy in this pizza, they get fees, a little bake inside the vault until the cheese is done. Fools are paying me like I don't even go to beaches, rather be here on a feed or something. Best believe it's decent, wavy man, I see sick, we chillin' in the deep end. Every week and weekend, see me, you can depend on it, cause I mean it. Coming up, you can even find a way to flood it up. You done enough, 10% stimulate and run it up. Point system, looking like a fine where they won't miss a solid contribution. Couldn't point it out enough. I met up with Matt, had a really good chat. He's telling me bet up your army does laps. That orbit does this meteor's heading when no one's expecting, and we watching it happen, In a pool of Meteora, watch me swim, swap a bed, I just keep it going. I'm kinda like I'm reading orders. Depth pool, got a fight and it full of high hopes. Look at my flow, DLM, man, keep it liquid, it's never not so. Hold up like, whoa, talking about slippers, bro, I don't even know that hoe. Easy in this pizza, they get peas, a little bacon, start the ball, just cheese done. Fools paying me like I don't even go to the beach, just be here on the beach.
All right, GMet, everybody. We're here with the Starseed team today, doing another deep dive with them. They've got some really exciting new product announcements for you guys, and I'm gonna just pass it on over to Von Razor, and he's gonna take it from here.
Well, thank you so much, Geeklad, and I'm excited to chat with you again. It's been a couple of months, and also congratulations on your newer elevated role with Meteora in project incubation. It's a tremendous honor that you get to continue working with projects like us and others in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks very much.
So the Starseed team is here today. We've just pushed out our latest and greatest update for our website, Starseed Command. We will give you an overview of some of those new features. We'll do a quick live demonstration on the website of those features and just chat for a bit and see if we get any questions. I'm Von Razor. I'm the head of operations for Starseed. I wear many hats, help with anywhere that really needs help with the team, and I'll let Grizz and the rest of the team introduce themselves as well.
Hey, thanks, Razor. I'm Grizz, and I just want to say that intro was wicked. That was awesome. I like it. I was digging the song. Anyways, yeah, I'm the head of marketing and BD, and just like Razor, wear many hats around on Starseed. You'll see me in the community a lot. Previous experience working with a bunch of teams in crypto, teams like Parity, the guys behind Polkadot. Worked with many other teams like in the A0 ecosystem and everything like that. With that being said, though, I'll pass it off to Bat. Let him intro himself.
Yep, I'm the head of strategy over here at Starseed. I am still a full-time trader and DGen in the space, primarily now playing LPs and perpetuals. And I got to agree with Grizz. That intro goes very, very hard. I'm going to have to add it to my workout playlist.
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
It is. And I'll pass it over to Shady.
Hey everyone, I'm Shady. I'm the head of development here at Starseed. I'm a software engineer during the day and work on Starseed during the night. But yeah, just thanks for having us on here, and we're really excited to show everyone what we've been working on.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing it. All right, let's get to the presentation you got there, Von Razor.
Yes, sir. I'll hand it over to Grizz to tell you where we've been before last time. Just a recap where we've been last time before we talk about Starseed Command.
Yeah, thanks, Razor. So some of y'all may remember the last live stream we did with Geek. We just pretty much started up the project, and we had a really cool thing at the time, right? And the market moved, and it stopped being cool. And so we've had to really expand. But where we were last time, we pretty much had an AI agent in our Discord called Starseed AI. You could ask it any kind of question regarding DLMMs for educational purposes. So if you were like a new guy coming into the ecosystem and didn't know anything, you could literally learn. And we've had people use it that way. Learn how to DLMM and what all the different terms mean and everything like that. You could also use it to find like the top pools at the time, find new tokens, And then the main feature was the rangefinder. So a lot of users were, requesting like what pools to get in, and it would actually have a range for you. So there wasn't, at the time it was taking people maybe an hour or two before they actually hopped in because of all the research they had to do. And then our tool actually, took that hour or two and turned it into like 60 seconds. And so, yeah, that's where we were last time we came on, and I'll pass it off to Bat to show you where we are now.
All right, thank you, Grizz. So where we're at now is we've totally transformed our platform into something called Starseed Command. And this is supposed to be our new all-in-one Solana dashboard. So we are building this integrated command center that essentially brings the vastness of the Solana ecosystem into a single manageable and intuitive interface. So the one thing that a lot of traders want is not having to juggle between so many browsers or tabs, which honestly, in this current ecosystem, that's really the case, right? You're juggling between so many different products and platforms. Whereas with this new system, you can forget all that because everything's seamlessly integrated within Starseed Command with our host of 11 different widgets. This is actually the one time that we're pro centralization with the Starseed Command, um, where we want everything to just be within our interface. Um, and we do like we believe like not one size doesn't always fit all, right? Every trader will have his or her own methods. They'll have their own workflows. So with that, we have like I said, a very intuitive interface where you can have 11 different widgets in any form that you want. So if you're a perpetuals trader, you can have a perp widget up to track your positions on Jupiter. If you're a DLMMer, which a lot of our users are, you can have many various DLMM widgets, such as ones that find the top pools to go into, or things that make use of the Jupiter trenches. So you can find top performing high volume pools very quickly, um, right on the right in one window, and you can enter those pools right away in the same window, while still tracking it on a chart on the same window, which is great because everything's right in front of you. You don't have to jump around to another monitor or another tab to look at your positions. And then we also introduced something called One Clip, which is a highly requested feature and very useful when you're going in and out of these high volume pairs where a lot of our users are still scalpers. So they're going in and out of these positions within minutes to within like 10, 15, 20 minutes. So one clipping your fees, very important. And that's something we introduced with our recent update now. And another thing that we really liked are our new P&L cards with some awesome art that we commissioned from a pretty awesome artist. And Razor can show some of that to you in the next slide. But that's what we've been working on for since the last time we were on here. Is this new very immersive experience with Starseed Command.
Yeah, and I just want to add that we do have a bunch of options for people to use, but the main focus with our platform is still DLM members. You'll notice like any out of all the widgets, like most of the widgets do um, help out people using Meteora. So that's like still our focus, still the community we care about the most, and we just realized that with the workflow that people have using DLMs, you kind of got to encompass a lot of things going on in Solana. And so, yeah, our main focus is still that.
So today, and just a couple of hours ago, we pushed our new update. Batman kind of preluded to some of those new features. You're able to now on Starseed Command do everything from opening your DLMM position, monitoring your position, and closing your position. But now, as of today, you're able to clip your position, one clip your position, or one clip it. What that's going to do is you have your open position, you clip it, you're able to swap everything directly from a mix of, in this case, Uncle Sam and Solana, swap everything over to either Solana or USDC. So I know that over the last many months I've been DLMMing now, there's so many times when I'm just in a race to close my position, and as it starts tanking and trying to get all the transactions to go through gets very scary when you have those red bars on your chart. So making it super quick and easy, that's what Clipit does. You can also easily compound your fees from Starseed Command, and that will take whatever unclaimed fees you have in your open position and just put it straight back into the same position. So I always think that's an interesting technique when you've got a pool of fees, chart tanks a little bit, and you're compounded in order to keep making more fees, generating more fees with your fees. I know Batman always likes to play with his fees when he's DLMMing, so made that a little bit easier with this big update. P&L cards is also a very highly requested feature that folks have wanted to see from Starseed. So now it's easier than ever to be able to generate P&L cards with us. We've got some really fantastic, cool art, and we're going to continue to expand kind of that repertoire of art, because it's always exciting to be able to see how people are doing and tracking their performances and doing with these different DLMM pools. A lot of really good information on any P&L card, but with these P&L cards, it's always interesting to be able to see what people have deposited and withdrawn and their fees claimed, so that you can kind of see, hey, how are they doing with these positions? Are they closing out of range? Are they targeting a mid-range, something with their mid-range, etc.? Are they doing a bid ask and generating a lot of their P&L just from the appreciation of the token? Or are they DLMMing and really just churning through lots of fees? So you're able to do that with Starseed. You don't have to open or close the positions with Starseed. You can just take any transaction address and generate your P&L card on the website. Lastly, this is kind of I'd say this is kind of an underrated feature. Previously, when we launched Starseed Command, you had to connect to it through Discord. You're required to integrate your Discord with Starseed and wait for approval from us or using a referral code. We've done away with that system, so now it's extremely easy to get in and start using Starseed. You just have to connect your wallet, Phantom, etc., and it's super easy. We've done some work with you're also able to use Starseed on your smartphone. So if you go into your Phantom wallet and go to starseed.dev, you're able to use Starseed on the go, which I think is kind of a really underrated use of this tool, because I always struggle juggling different tabs, especially on my phone. And so if I'm able to open charts, do token swaps, manage DLMMs, and generate my P&L card all just from one place on my smartphone, that's super easy and super convenient. There's a couple other updates and tweaks we did with the update, but when we go into our live demo, you'll get to see those then. This isn't a product update as much, but we've also significantly rebranded our Starseed. We pushed this forward yesterday, so we have a brand new logo, brand new fonts, brand new colors, and we're excited about it. So this is just a quick glimpse of all of the art that you're able to use with Starseed. So with that, I'll switch over to streaming Starseed Command, and we can just kind of have a open discussion, see if folks in the chats have questions. And I'm curious what you're thinking right now, Geeklad.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm excited to see these features in action. Maybe you can zoom your browser window just a little bit there.
Yeah. Great. Well, I'm on Starseed Command right now, starseed.dev, and when you log in, you'll be able to connect your wallet, and where all the magic happens is on this dashboard. So right now, I've got my preferred dashboard set up. I'm gonna clear everything out though right now, just so that you can see that if you're a first-time user, what this looks like. So you'll be presented with this blank page, and you've got options to be able to add your own widgets. We also have a default layout. So it pops up on your screen with some of our most frequently used widgets. But it's just as easy to be able to set up your own dashboard. So, like what I've done in the past is I like having a nice big chart on my screen. So I start there and make that super readable. You can add other widgets. Things that you might want to be able to see is an LP positions widget once you've got DLMMs open. Maybe you'll want to, we have widgets like our top pools widget and a top traded widget. You gotta resize them, move them around on your screen a bit, so that you can have everything set up. If you want to be able to scroll through all your widgets, that's fine. If you want to be able to have everything visible at once, choice is yours. And then there's also this DLMM pools widget. So I'll explain some of these in a moment, but I just want to show off putting some of the widgets on the screen and selecting them. So with that, you're able to set up your dashboard in any way you want, and either DLMM and do token swaps or something else. Once you've saved got your dashboard in a configuration that you like, you can easily save it onto the website, and then you make modifications to it. If you want to have different dashboards for different purposes, so maybe you have one dashboard that's set up for DLMMing and another one that's just for monitoring your positions and your perpetuals and your token holdings. So what I've got here is my current dashboard layout. And what that's going to let you see is some of the top traded pools that are transpiring right now within the last hour. You can get that down to 5 minutes. This just analyzes volume data and from Meteora DLMM pools so that you can see what's going on, what's popping off right now. And then we also have this top traded pools widget, which is just an integration with Jupyter Trenches. So this is their top traded pools, which is really helpful if you're trying to spot and screen for brand new token launches. So if you're trying to find something that's isn't something that's almost a dinosaur at this point, like Fartcoin. But like yesterday, Batman and I were just talking together, looking through screening tokens, and it's like he was able to spot this PPPP token that's really been doing some significant volume, and we found that all the way back at probably, what was it, Batman? Like,
Oh yeah, but like under 2 mil market cap.
yeah.
So yeah, it was around there somewhere. Is where we found it.
And the great tragedy is we didn't buy when we saw that. So we woke up this morning seeing it this PPPP had around like 8 million market cap, and it's like, oh no. But yeah, if I just look for I'll open a small position here.
And is is your layout saved by is it tied to your wallet? So like if you were to open up Starseed Command in a different computer or a different browser, it would automatically load it up, or is it saved locally to the browser?
It's saved directly to your wallet.
Okay.
So I've been able to set up all of my dashboard for when I'm at home and I'm on my desktop, and when I'm at work on the go. I've got my laptop with a little 14-inch screen, 1920 by 1080, and it's like I can use my home layout, or I have a laptop layout.
That's cool. Very nice.
So yeah, opening positions through Starseed, you've got a couple of options. It's pretty easy to do through the top pools widget, which is just showing pools where they're in certain time periods that you select. You're able to see the pool, pull up some data for the pool, and then you can open it through the top pools widget. Or if you've got a token address, I have the token address for PPPP right now open. You go to your DLMM pools widget, and you can see all of the different pools right now. So right now it looks like there's a pool with a soul pairing and with a wrapped soul pairing, and then you can kind of see what all the different pools are open right now, just like on Meteora. You can open it through here, decide if you want to do a soul-sided or token-sided position. Click next. You can decide what strategy you want to use. I'm just going to use a spot strategy for this. And then you can set your price deviation, which is just what do you want the bottom of your range to be from the current price level. So I haven't done any math, so I'm just going to be a little degen and say we're doing a 30% price deviation. Set your slippage tolerance and confirm, and it'll just pop up with a nice confirmation screen. Open your position. So I've just got the position created notification at the top, and in maybe 15, 30 seconds, it'll show up in the LP positions widget, and we're going to just be able to track and monitor the performance of that as we continue our conversation. We'll show off some of the new features that we've got too. Something new that we've added is we've really streamlined the UI UX in this update. So something cool now that we're able to do is really quickly open charts. You can open charts on Starseed in a couple of ways. If you've got a token address, you're just able to type it in and it'll pop up with a new chart. Or you can see like here in the top traded pools widget, we've got these really small chart icons. And I'll try to zoom in quick so that you can see them a little better. Messes up the UI, the dashboard a little bit, but we've got a little chart icon here next to the token pairing name or next to these token names. And if you click those icons, it'll just pop open the chart. So a little easier now to start screening tokens and then pulling up charts so that if you want to do any technical analysis or start plotting if you want to do a DLMM, that's much easier to do now.
And if you click the chart icon on your position, will that pull up the chart specifically for that pool or for the whole token?
It'll be for the whole token.
Okay. And what about setting your settings for transactions? Are you able to set the priority fee or Jito fee or like a mixed mode, kind of like the Meteora site has?
Mhm.
Do you have options for that as well?
I'll let Shady chime in terms of what we've set for like priority fees. At the moment, the main thing I think that you're able to do is just set your slippage for
slippage.
opening the position.
Okay.
Yeah. So on that, it is actually recommended against by like Phantom and stuff to when it comes to setting priority fees, because most time if you don't provide a priority fee, Phantom will automatically handle it for you. And like how they do it is that they try to get the best priority fee for at the time of that transaction. So they want to handle that themselves versus like complicating it for the user. So we kind of follow that mindset after going through like the Phantom docs and stuff. And once we figured out that they discourage allowing users to set priority fee, we kind of followed that same setup as they do.
Okay. Do you know what happens if you're using like what is it? The
Soulflare wallet.
Soulflare, yeah.
I'm going to assume they follow the same mindset. I would have to do a little bit more research and just confirm. Because I know we've been working with trying to get some additional features like auto approve and stuff like that from Phantom. So we've mostly just been talking with them. But I'll definitely have to research Soulflare a little bit more, and I can get back to you on that.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be good to know. I know me personally, I'm kind of a cheapo. I like to set my fees really low. And generally my transactions land even with, like, I don't know, 0.00001 priority fee. They tend to land, especially lately. The congestion hasn't been bad, so I guess it'd be interesting to see what sort of fees are getting set when transacting through the UI.
Yeah, when we were building this out, we had to sit down and think about like who really the target audience was. And when we were at the time, of course, it's different now, right? Now that the market is where it's at. We wanted it to be very inclusive of like newbies because back in January we saw a big influx of new users. I mean, it was insane the amount of new users that were coming in and asking questions about how do I do DLMM and how do I do this, what does this mean, and all that. And we realized like a big target audience of ours would be these new users coming in, and so we didn't really want to complicate things at the time. But now that the market has kind of settled down and these new users have pretty much turned from noobs to pros, this is something that we will focus on in the future. Getting situated with with the influx of new users was pretty tough at the time, but I think right now it's a good time to kind of look at things like that.
Yeah, I like the simplicity of opening the new position. It's funny because you're like so used to the Meteora UI and the way they do it. But I think what you guys did, it's kind of interesting. It sort of simplifies the whole process, and you're not having to deal with dragging sliders or anything like that. Um, could you maybe demonstrate how to open a two-sided position and show what that looks like?
Yeah, sure. So first, I don't have any USDC because I'm just so uber bullish on Solana right now. So I'll swap some of that real quick, and we can try doing a two-sided Sol USDC position. So I'm gonna set that up real quick. Great. So yeah, opening two-sided positions is just as easy as setting up a one-sided position. So I'm going to do a Sol USDC pool through the DLMM pools widget. I'm just going to take this top listed pool since it's got the most fees right now. And you can set your liquidity type to double-sided. I'm just set max on my USDC and one on Sol. I'll do it as a curve, and then sorry, I'll do 1.5 and 1.5. So what you can see here, you'll notice that I've set a 1.5% minimum price deviation and a 1.5% max deviation. Well, that's too much that's too big of a range. You're only able to open up one position at a time with Starseed, unfortunately. So that's just one set of 69 bins. But what you do get is this warning notification that if you go exceed that limit, how many bins that you're trying to open up, so that you can kind of tweak your price deviation really quickly. So that warning's gone away. I can click next and create the position, and we'll have that pop up just a little bit here.
One of the most surprising requests, I think, out of all the new features that we've introduced was P&L cards. It's actually pretty crazy how many people were asking, like, when are y'all going to do P&L cards? Instead of like new features or anything like that, it was P&L cards. That was super
Everybody
awesome.
loves to flex.
Yeah, so that's going right now. We can check in on these positions in a little bit. So let's show off some of the P&L cards then. There's a couple ways to go and do this. Maybe Grizz or Batman can also fetch me a transaction that they've got want to share. I'm going to click on my profile here. So this just shows a tracking of data of all the number of transactions that you've opened and closed through Starseed. So I've been been on a bit of a marathon for the last couple of months, and have opened and closed lots of positions. This profile page will also show you some of your most recent positions too that you've opened and closed, and you're able to just pop open the P&L cards straight from your profile. So I've clicked that. It's opened a tab, and as you can see, I'm now on the P&L section of the website. It takes a little bit for the P&L card to generate because we've got to pull different pieces of data, and voila, there we go. We've got a P&L card.
Very cool.
You're able
That's
to
cool, and you can change the wind style. That's nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun too, is when if we keep adding more backgrounds,
Yeah.
people kind of go in and see how they've done. So I was able to open or generate this with Starseed Command. You don't have to use the rest of, if you just want the P&L cards, you can go to starseed.dev, click on the P&L tab that shows up, and enter your transaction ID for whenever you close your DLMM position. And that will also just generate a P&L card for you. So let's see if Batman had a winner or loser here.
Oh boy, putting me on the spot.
Congratulations, sir. Wow. You made more money than me.
I can stay on the team.
All right.
Let's see. Team, am I missing any other features we want to showcase here?
I think you hit all the important ones. I guess we can just show a compounding one since you generated a whopping 5 cents in fees on the Sol USDC pool.
Oh man, compound that quick.
Making
Yeah.
big money. So you've got options here now on the LP positions widget. You can directly claim your fees. You can close your position, but you can also compound your fees or clip them. So if I compound the fees, what it's going to do is give you a confirmation message. It's going to take those unclaimed fees and put them back into your DLMM. So it'll take a moment for the widget to update, but soon you'll see the fees earned section in here update with a whole 7 cents. Fortunately, I don't think we'll be able to see much of a visual difference in the range on here. Let's see, I've got 25 cents. So I'm getting tired of this PPPP token. I don't know. I've done enough cooking for today. I'm ready to eat. So I'm going to clip that. I'll tap the clip it button, and it gives me a choice to swap to USDC or to Sol. So because I'm a Sol maxi, it's going straight back to Sol. And I get a confirmation message to run that through. It says I've successfully clipped the position, but I will be mindful that it says verify all transactions to ensure they were successful. Just because we don't want a situation where if we're routing this through Jupiter too to make the swap back into Solana. So we want to make sure that all my tokens have actually converted back into Solana. So I'm going to find click the.
And are you guys doing that in a single transaction, or are you doing it with multiple transactions?
This is with Shady. Were you going to chime in?
Yeah, I was going to chime in. Yeah, so we're doing it through multiple transactions since we're just calling the Ultra API to generate the swap transaction.
Okay. So you get one confirmation request, and then it executes multiple transactions.
Yep. You can basically what we do is we just sign all the transaction in one pop up in your wallet. So you can sign all the transactions, and then we can send those in the order that they need to be sent. That way, things are processed properly. Because if you try to swap tokens you don't yet have, it's going to fail, of course.
Right. One thing you guys might want to think about, and I think I know at least one of the other teams do this, is use a Jito bundle. So that way, it's either going to, confirm all the transactions or fail them all.
Batman's giving me another address to put in. So
What you were saying, Geek, this is actually something we were looking into. It's something that we are looking into to see how much easier it is for everyone. Ultimately, Shady does live in a cage. No, I'm just playing. He does. No, ultimately, it is. We decided to go this route for the sake of getting this update out in a good time and everything like that. But for future updates, this is something we are considering. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I think it's good to get it out the door first, and then you could definitely iterate on it.
did I see a red P&L card earlier? Were you showing that off, Razor?
that was Batman's AI 16Z physician.
Oh, come on. We got to see it again. Let's see it.
See, any losses on here, it says testing the product, purely testing the product.
we do it for the tech.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
we do. See, with our cool P&L cards here, we make losers cool. So even if you have a big losing position, I mean, look at that. That's awesome. I'm proud of this loss.
Yeah, and you can download the P&L card to your computer, or you can copy it into your clipboard. So.
Yeah, I love the artwork. Very cool.
All right, I'm just checking through the chats quick to see if there's any questions.
Yeah, I saw one earlier that was asking if if there was any relationship between us and Pause, and I would say no, there's not. Just to answer that one, Starseed hasn't partnered with anyone or any other team. We've just been heads down focusing on building not just our product but our community. That's been our main focus, is just getting a sustainable community, a community that knows how to not just operate on Solana but operate within the DLMM sphere, and just getting them up to date with how to trade. We've gone from, as we've said before, we've gone from just a simple AI chatbot to really stretching the limits on what's possible on one screen when you're trading in Solana. Our main focus is DLMMs, but we realize that there's a lot of crossover between guys who are playing perps, people who are providing liquidity, and even just something as simple as checking your transactions, having to go to Soul Scan and all that stuff. That's all in the dashboard. I saw someone ask too if we were going to have a token. There's no token live, so if you see it pop up on Photon or anything like that, that's not us. I know last time we did the live stream, a bunch of tokens popped up. That's not us. So getting a little feedback from someone's mic. I'm not sure. In terms of tokens, it's a big headache, so for right now, there's no plans to do that. In the future that can change, but as of right now, we're more interested in building out our product and getting people to use it. That is our first and foremost focus.
I did notice in the P&L cards it said star points. Is that just for grins right now? What's that about?
Yeah, it is. Star points, gamifying any product just provides a little bit more fun use case for it. And that's kind of what we're doing, but we also don't want to, we also do want to leave ourselves open for the future. If in the future there is something like a token that we want to do, we do want people who have earned a lot of star points and who have been with us, since the beginning, to be able to, track that. And so this is kind of our way of doing it, but ultimately right now it's just for fun. Because like I said, there is no plan for a token. So if any token is on Photon, do not buy it. It's not us. It's a scam. But yeah, it's for fun. A lot of teams have done this without releasing a token, and it's just a way to kind of, like you said, everyone loves to flex, so you got more star points. And we are thinking about like other ways to reward users who have high star points. Besides like airdrops and everything like that. There's a lot of ways that these points can be rewarded, and we're in active discussions to see like what's the best fit for where we're at right now.
Cool. No, I like the UI. The top pools, because you've got cards in there, it's a little bit hard to see, but I guess you can collapse them. By default, is everything expanded or collapsed?
You're able to edit the size of these widgets. So if you wanted to have a really big top pools widget, you're able to make it nice and large here. And I'm on my external monitor, so it's like, oh, this is right like inches from my face. But I can zoom in and make things a little more readable too. So
yeah, and I think to speak to Geeklad's question, these are in a minimized state to begin with, and you can expand it, and then you'll get the and once again, Doug, these are just suggested ranges that you could go into. Like, we're not saying hey, you got to go into this range specifically, because like last time, it's still based on a snapshot of when that was taken. So that range could very much change, especially on a super volatile token like quadruple P. So that range might not be accurate, but on something that's a bit more stable, it still gives you that kind of guiding hand if you need that to aid in any kind of technical analyses or entries or exits.
And how are those sorted? The top pools?
Volume or fees earned.
Okay. So it's just sorted by fees.
Yeah. I think in general, even with the top traded pool or stuff like Jupiter Trenches, like volume is always going to be king in the end.
Right.
And fees earned or volume, I mean, it's effectively the same thing in this case.
Yeah.
So that's what we sort by.
You've got a nice 1-2 punch going on here by being able to have both like the Jupiter top traded open on this window and our top pools widget, because you're able to see who's performing, like how are deal, like the top pools widget is tracking how specific DLMMs are performing. But obviously, if you're looking at the Jupiter's top traded tokens, like you're not necessarily tracking DLMMs. You might be able to spot tokens that don't have a lot of volume in DLMs right now, and that's how you can spot your next opportunity.
Yep.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of confirmation on your entries, especially when you have those two data sets going. It's kind of like using multiple technical indicators when you're doing technical analyses, like FIBs, volume profile. It's added data to justify your entry or an exit into something.
Yeah, because as we were creating this product, we saw the meta shift from going in. People wouldn't be just going in and out of DLMMs. Like you would be looking for tokens who have kind of like a stable price range, or relatively stable, I should say, not necessarily like full on stability, what people are thinking about. And we've seen that shift, from that to like established names. Like I hate saying it, but it's like the only one coming to my mind right now, like Fartcoin, and now it's like people are finding tokens that are just launching like that day, and the price isn't necessarily stable, as there's a lot of volatility going up and down, and people are going in and out within 5 minutes and getting 100%, which is insane to me, from where the meta was like 3 months ago, and so this kind of just helps users with that established new meta, like get into these tokens that you might not find just looking at top pools.
If you guys could bring in the organic score as well, that might be a useful thing to see. I guess the top rated pools or top rated pairs or top rated tokens tend to be highly organic anyway. But
I mean, I make the argument that the organic score might not be the most useful metric for DLMMing, especially when you're prioritizing volume. Because if you look at the organic score, a lot of those can also be really old tokens like JLP. Like, I don't think for the active DLMMer, like if you're going for multi-day, okay, cool, JLP is nice. But if for the people that are using our platform, I want to say most of them are the active short-term scalping trader, which means the organic score might not actually be the most useful metric
Right.
for this type of active trading lifestyle. And top traded does give you, I think, a greater potential ROI with the stuff that pop up there. I would say between all the stuff that trenches offer, I think trending and top traded might be the most useful one, with top traded being the most actionable one that you can go into with good ROI. Would you more or less agree with that, Razor, from what you've also seen with using it? Or
That's been sums up my experience.
yeah. What about you, Geek? Do you like making plays off of the organic score, or
I use it more just as a confirmation, right? So
yeah?
because like even like short term stuff, if the organic score is like 0, right, or super low,
Yeah.
then I would be more apprehensive about jumping right into it, right? So because I know sometimes if you pull it up, you see an organic score is 0, and then you look at the chart, you're like, oh yeah, this is wash trading, or there's some bullshit going on here. So
Mhm.
for me, it's just more of a almost like a rug check, right? Just making sure that it's not a total scam token.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Top Traded effectively does that in a way. If you
Yeah,
did want to look at organic score, because I think the average organic score I typically see in that is above 80. I don't know what
right.
your cutoff is for organic scores and like whether it's a bad investment or not. I think mine is usually if it's 80 or above, or if it's like the top 10 in Top Traded, I'm cool with it.
Right.
Uh, regardless of the organic score, but I guess typically the organic score, if you're that high, is going to be fairly high.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the top trade is going to be fairly highly organic
Yeah.
tokens anyway.
I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds like, we need a new widget to add in here, and that's the perfect one. But I mean, we can add these widgets in pretty easily. But speaking of rug check, we do have that capability through the dashboard as well. If you want to show that off real quick, Razor, not to put you on the spot, sorry. But yeah, you can input a token address, get it on rug check, and see what the score is and everything. And that way,
Nice.
like we said, you're not really having to like leave the page. Like, ultimately we kind of took how all of us trade and our workflows into trading. And like one of the most common things that people do, for the most part, if you're less risk averse, you will check out rug check. And so just being able to like see the chart, go to rug check, see what the score is there, go to the pools. Okay, cool, excellent. Now I want to open it. Bam. Maybe open up the Jupiter terminal so you can like transfer your fees out instantly. It's just super smooth. Versus like juggling, like for me, at one point before Starseed, I was having to like juggle 10 different pages. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What about trench radar or bubble maps? Do you guys have widgets for either one of those?
We don't have direct widgets for those, but what we do have is like if you see here on the top pools page, we do have links to rug check and bubble maps and trench in here.
Okay.
They're just not integrated as independent widgets. So I clicked on the bubble maps for Bang. And fortunately, you have to leave the Starseed dashboard for that, but it is still pretty quick for me to get back.
It's safe to say with the system we have, with the dashboard system, we can iterate so fast. It's insane. Like as long as you have an API for it, or if an API for something exists, we can create that widget for you.
Right.
And you can have it in your dashboard. So it's very much like I think on one of these slides it was a bespoke widget system. It literally is that. Like if you need some kind of widget and if there's a demand for it, and the API or the tech for that exists, like we can add that in here seamlessly and very easily and very quickly.
Yeah, and if a big reason why they're some of the widgets aren't on here is because like paying for that API, it's like 5-10K a month.
Yeah.
Where we're at right now, we don't have that kind of
Yeah.
we don't have those kind of funds, but
Right.
hopefully in the future, who knows, right? Like that could change. We would love to integrate some of these APIs into our widget system, but
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate where we're at right now in terms of that. So.
Can you click the widget drop down just maybe we can quickly show all the different widgets we have there.
Yeah, so I think like Batman said, we've got about 11 different widgets. I'll clear my board quick so I can show them off in real time. So recent transactions, sometimes I don't want to have to go to SoulScan and pull up my wallet in order to find what my recent transactions are. So this has a nice list of, I think, 10 recent transactions that you can quickly pull up into SoulScan. Token holdings widget, if you just want to be able to see stuff like your Solana, or I've got my LP Army wrapped Solana.
All right. Like to see that.
Yep. Other widgets that we've got, you've already seen price charts and LP positions. Those take a moment to pop up. Let's see. Top pools. If you want to track new pump fund launches, we've got a widget for that. Sometimes you get some very interesting token names, as you'd expect from a pump fund token launch.
We don't endorse anything bad on this token name. Pure example.
It's been funny though, because it's like if there's a major news event, you'll suddenly start seeing a lot of new token names related to that event. So like,
well, you're telling me the study of fart is not the future of finance?
I mean, it's funny because it was like a couple months ago when we were launching Starseed Command that there was a lot of news about the Roman Catholic Pope being hospitalized. So there's a lot of tokens that was like about the Pope, and it's like, what's going on here? Why is there a bunch of Pope tokens? It's like, oh, I found out first. Starseed.
That's great. And those aren't graduations. Those are just brand new issues.
They're brand new tokens. Yep. Yep. New. Yep. Let's see. Yeah. I don't have any perpetuals open right now, but if you did, you'd be able to see it on here.
And is that with just with Jupiter or with other platforms as well?
That's just with Jupiter right now.
Okay.
We're exploring some other options to expand that. Oh God.
I wouldn't risk it on the perps right now.
I'm gonna do
100x for the culture.
I'll do it for the culture. We're gonna do some very small culture. We're gonna do $10.
I mean, it is at an interesting short position right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. We'll see if this makes me my millions.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
This could be the funding for the bubble maps API.
There we go. You got your perps open right now. So if you had a long and a short open, it would show that. But you can see how degen I am, what size that is, what my entry was, my liquidation price that
Oh boy.
Yep. And I'll borrow fees as they stack up over time. And with a 100x position, that's gonna spiral out of control. So yeah, you can DLMM and perpetual and monitor perpetuals.
Very cool.
Were there any widgets that? Yeah. Yeah, actually. But were there any widgets that you think are must-haves that we don't have currently, Geek?
I mean, I think having the top pools is definitely good because I think that's where people start, right? They want to find out where they can make entry points, what pools they can get into. So it's great to see that one. The Jupiter swap widget, I think it's spot on. The DLMM pools, I don't know. Really nothing's coming to mind. I think you guys have kind of covered the main things that anyone's going to want to see if they're providing liquidity. Um, one thing that you know, that I would like to see somehow for the top pools is maybe some sorting options. Because if you just look at absolute fees, it it could be it's just a large pool with a lot of liquidity, and if you go into that pool relative to the amount of liquidity you put in, you may not really earn that much in fees. So um, I know I know that looking at fee to TVL ratio can sometimes be misleading, especially when there's a lot of liquidity going in and out. I mean, that's part of the reason why I did sort of my time series um, analysis and on my DLMM screener. But I think maybe some options here to get a better sense for how profitable the pools may potentially be, instead of just looking at absolute fees in total, might be good. And it's that's always a tricky thing, right? Trying
Mhm, mhm.
to really define um, just kind of how you're going to sort those pools, or how do you really look at a top pool. I mean, looking at um, absolute volume and absolute fees is definitely a good starting point, but I don't know. It's like how do you filter it down a little bit further, right? Because maybe
Yeah, because there are a
start
lot of
going.
nuances still, right? Yeah,
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of
yeah.
nuance to it. So, um, I think if I were to make any recommendation, is I don't know, come up with some good ways of just improving that widget to really refine those top top pools, the ones that are going to be the most profitable. And I know you guys, being in the trenches yourselves, maybe you've got some strategies that'll work for you, or ways that you've found good pools. I mean, it's not always when you're looking at absolute volume that you find the best pools, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but no, I think it's good. I think this is great. The one thing with the top pools is because there's a lot of information for each one of the pools. You really can't see a lot of pools in one shot. I know you can expand it, you can make it bigger,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but I don't know if maybe there's a tabular view you could create where you could see kind of more rows in it.
Kind of like,
Um,
yeah, the tool that you built, right? Where it's
y-
like a sheets almost, like a Google
yeah,
Sheets or an Excel
yeah,
page.
almost like a sheet.
Mhm.
So because
Yeah.
you could get a lot more information, a lot more pools listed, and then at a glance maybe pull in the most relevant information for deciding which one you're going to jump into.
Yeah. Now, maybe something is you got. I think even like in Google and like Google Drive, you're able to set a compact view for the widget or your folders, or an
Right,
expanded view.
right,
So maybe there's like a switch or something you're able to flick, and oh, if
yeah,
you want to see lots of see lots of data at once, you can do that.
yeah.
Or if you want the more expanded view.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I think something like that would be good. Like maybe a little button at the top to show the expanded view, or the detail, the collapsed view. Because like you look at the top traded widget you have there, you've got a lot more tokens in there, right? You can see a lot more information versus the top pools. You have to scroll down the list to really see the information. So
mhm.
I think it's better to show more rows, and then the columns of the most pertinent information, and then yeah, maybe you have a toggle that would switch to this display from that tabular view.
With your time series, when you are looking for those nuances, do you find that the plays you're getting are good for scalping or more for longer holds or multi-day holds?
I think you can do both, right? So it
Yeah.
depends on how you filter the view.
Hmm.
I think the default view I have on there is more playing to scalpers,
Hmm.
versus longer term. But you can certainly go with pools with higher volume, with higher liquidity, things like that. Like you could increase your minimum liquidity amount. So like if you look for a minimum liquidity of, I don't know, 20 or 30,000, then you're going to get more of the long-term plays versus the short-term plays. So I think you could use it for both. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
that's
maybe
pretty
some
cool.
filter options on that. that top pools might be good too, right? Like, maybe you want to jump into pools that have at least 30 or 40,000 in liquidity. So if you do that, that's going to filter you down to
We,
more of those long-term sort of
So we
plays.
actually we should
yeah, we
show
have,
off
Oh, you
that
do have some
next
filters.
time.
we do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I forgot to show that off. It's like we do
Oh,
have
okay. There you go.
we do have some filters options on here. So if
Oh,
you've
great.
got the click on the gear icon, that pops
Oh,
up with some
perfect.
filters,
There
and
you
you
go.
are able to sort through, if you're looking for certain volume, certain liquidity, or even like certain types of bin step ranges.
Oh, okay.
And oh man, I love the exclude tickers function too, because for a while, like we were just in a marathon of Trump and Melania tokens, and I mean, there's just
Yeah.
so much like lots of volume, but like I don't want to play those right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Okay, that's good. That's good that you have that. That's definitely helpful. I think that would help to filter down the list to more things that suit better to
mhm.
your sort of style of market making.
Yep.
So that's good. And then if you apply those filters, can you save them, or if you reload the page, it's going to be back to the defaults with no filtering?
We're gonna find out. Let's see. I'm gonna do million volume. Okay, so I got a million volume, so we see the Sol USDC and the Trump USDC. So we've got that in there. We've got the filter applied. I'm gonna refresh the page. And looks like it reset here.
Okay.
So Shady's gonna have to go back to the cage on that one.
Yeah.
But I think you're able to. Sometimes what I end up having to do is flipping between my dashboard and my profile. Okay, that didn't save either. Okay.
Yeah, so I think the main takeaway here is that Shady has a lot more work to do.
His work will never be done.
Yeah, no, it never will be.
That's how it goes. All right.
So I think with how I play the top pools, it's mostly just screening out tokens. I
Right.
don't think generally speaking, I feel like I don't really look for anything that has a minimum volume. I just want whatever's the top one, and I don't really
Yeah.
screen for that.
Yeah.
The mostly just want to exclude stuff like Trump or Melania,
Right.
Razor said, because surprisingly, those still show up every single day in the top pools.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised.
I did see this question come up
Oh
about
yeah,
the P&L cards. Are those just for?
that's
They
a
are
very
just
good
for
question.
DLMM, right?
Yeah, just for DLMs for now, but it's something that we want to expand to eventually. Like, say if when Jupiter eventually releases their API for perps, like that's something we can add more functionality to, and then have P&L cards for that. But yeah, no, we'd love to expand it to other offerings.
Cool. All right.
Any other questions, either from you or from anyone in the chat that's watching?
Let's see. Any
We
questions?
are
Chat
an
out
open
there?
book.
And then a note here from Grizz. And then, so I know that so you guys are actually submitting transactions on the user's behalf, and they're using the wallet to confirm those transactions. So your application is non-custodial, right? You guys aren't maintaining keys or anything like that. Okay.
No.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, sir. Yep. User can connect their own wallet, but we're not creating any wallets for people. We don't store any private keys. We don't have access to any private keys.
Right.
So,
And then the contracts you guys are transacting with are the Meteora DLMM and the Jupiter contract. Are there any other contracts you guys are interacting with, or is it just those two?
I believe it's just those two, but I think Shady, that's more of a question for you.
Yeah, with our current widget system, it is just those two. But of
Okay.
course, as we expand and as we add more widgets and stuff, I'm sure there will be more contracts that we interact with. But as of right now, it is just those two.
Okay, cool. All right.
I see a question in the chat real quick. If you connect your Phantom wallet that has multiple wallets, can you change from one to the other? And I believe, yeah, you can. It's super easy. I usually just trade on one wallet. Honestly, that's my thing. I know the other two, and a lot of our users, they have multi wallets, so they trade just fine with those. I think, Shady, correct me if I'm wrong, the only problem with us taking away the Discord and everything like that is that the star points won't be tracked under one account. Is that correct?
As of now, yes. But on our backlog, one of the things is going to be able to add like multiple wallets to your main account. So like you just sign a message to prove you own the wallet, and then we'll be able to link everything together.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't worry for those of you who want the star points. We got you. We're working on a solution.
That's right. And then here's a nice, I guess, question / suggestion if it's not possible, right? Can you add a lock on the widget so you can lock it while adding others and move around the one with the lock so it can't be moved or edited?
It's a good suggestion because sometimes we do play ring around the rosy with the widgets when you're trying to edit it. So we'll definitely take that into consideration and try to iterate on that. It's a good suggestion. So thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, suggestions from the audience?
Someone said they wrote on Discord.
That was by Loom. Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah,
posted that
yeah.
about the widget. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. Well, it looks like we don't have any more questions. Guys, appreciate you coming on and demoing the new features for us. Really appreciate your time. Appreciate all your hard work, and keep it up, man. And we'll see you guys around.
No, thank you. We appreciate you for having us on here again. This is awesome. You're an amazing and gracious host.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's always fun. Always good talking to you guys. And we'll see you around. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Meteora. Thank you, LP Army. And thank y'all, everyone in the Starseed Discord for supporting us, guys. You have a great one.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Thanks. Bye.